present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Hey, BD Supply, this is Richard.
Hey, Richard, it's Cory. How are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Day's getting away from me, so I figured just call. I got two requests, different ones for some Bomber items, and they're both kind of slightly unique, and I probably need to know how to replace them going forward. So I'm going to start with the weirder and bigger one that we've kind of discussed in some avenue, which is swing clear hinges. So the customer is looking for a Bomber, the PBB 5022. Specified 4.5, and also a 629 finish, but that's all. And kind of secondary, possibly, although we need to specify it as stainless. So, as I was looking for replacements, I wasn't sure if there are different types of animals, meaning if it is a full mortise, 4.5 swing clear hinge, are there other derivations on that size I need to take into account? Because it didn't seem like there was crossovers across the board. I tried to look in some of the different catalogs or cross-references to these ones, and I didn't find them, so I'm just not sure what moving pieces I have to make sure are lined up, because these are, this Bomber one's an expensive one, so where would I go on this one, other than call you?
Oh, yeah, super easy. Just super easy. So the 5022 is, what's the rest of the part number? So it's going to be probably like 045 would be my guess.
Yeah.
But there's a really important component to that missing. When you look at the Bomber how-to order matrix, there's going to be a field immediately after the size. Well, you're looking at a hinge BB5022. Let's look. And -045. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that could have been a lot better. We're missing the call out for whether or not it's an R or a V, square edge door or beveled edge door.
And I did ask the customer. It is square.
Okay. Square, okay. So you got a BB 5022-045-R-finish. Okay, so super easy. So so he has to have stainless base material?
That was what was requested, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be
no problem.
A bid for this isn't for the end user. I think he's bidding for his client.
Got it. Okay, so McKinney, Stanley, Hager, it all boils down to who you like working with. What the application calls for. My opinion, because it's a quote, I would go Stanley. Not only because they're very competitive, but because it's an exceptional finish, fit and finish. When the hinge shows up, you're like, dang, these guys take pride in what they do. So if you do a search in the site for FBB 179, Ives, PBB, a million other people. This is not a really weird hinge. So FBB 179, and then go to page 2, and click on the very top item, and then click on the link to the manufacturer's page.
Okay.
And then you want to open the 2010 Architectural Hardware Catalog, second link from the top.
Okay.
So swing clear is going to come in when you do a Control F. You'll start to see lots of swing clear hinges, but the one you're probably going to end up using is going to be seen on the 64th page of the document. Actually, probably not. Let's check it. Yeah, I would say the 65th page of the document. What you're dealing with is probably going to be a CB268. And, and really interestingly, on that same page, you see how swing clear hinges can be done in different versions, variants, full, half surface, half and half mortise, full mortise, half mortise, full surface, half surface. It's really unusual to see full surface, but they're out there. There was a grocery store where we used to live, and the cart return doors, they had full surface swing clear hinges. So a CB268 would be good, although that's heavyweight. I'm sorry. He gave, okay, so the BB5022, is that standard weight? It's standard weight stainless base?
Yes, standard weight,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you would want the
CB248? Or...
Yeah, that would be good. That's a concealed bearing. I don't know if they have exposed, which would be awesome, a very good choice. But I wonder if they have an FBB248, if that's such a thing. Yeah, CB248 would be concealed bearing. Very desirable, very good option. The FBB, actually, it would be to do a exposed bearing in a standard weight. It would be on the 80th page, and that would get you to a standard weight swing clear full mortise. And the stainless base is the STS FBB248 on the 80th page, lower right.
I see it. Alrighty.
That would be good. So what's really and what's interesting is the majority of times actually that we sell swing clear hinges, it's like in a 3.5 inch or a 4-inch size, and it's for a residential application where someone is now in a wheelchair.
Right.
That kind of thing. Someone's come home and now they're in a wheelchair, or the home has been built for compliance for someone with special needs. And, obviously hospitals are just so full of these things. To go to a hospital is like hitting the lottery in terms of seeing hardware that you never see often.
Right. Specialized hardware.
Very specialized. So the McKinney catalog is also very good. Their part number could be and what you may be noticing also is you can do them in 3-knuckle or 5-knuckle. The McKinney part number could be a TA2395. So you'd want to look at that as well. The 3-knuckle versus 5-knuckle, that's worth studying in the Stanley catalog, and each has their own section. The 3-knuckle is arguably a more pleasant hinge to look at because you're not seeing all of those knuckles, all of the busyness of the barrel of the hinge when it's a 5-knuckle hinge. So 3-knuckle hinges are absolutely cleaner to look at. They're also noticeably more expensive, but they're really clean to look at. And I wouldn't recommend going with that if it's an existing application. They're all 5-knuckle because they look absolute. They're not, if you, in the back of the Stanley catalog, if you go to like page 30, the 37th page and the 38th page, it wouldn't be unusual for you to agree that, yeah, that's a cleaner looking hinge.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Less knuckles. Oh, yeah. I love the 3-knuckle. It's just you got to do, mix and match. And then there's also 2-knuckle hinges, but not in a swing clear.
Okay.
So McKinney, the TA2395 is always a good choice. You're going to need to specify. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Forgive me. The TA2395 is square edge. If you needed beveled edge, it would be a different part.
Okay.
It's not unusual to need to do hospital tip on these. If it's going into a application where ligature resistant could be a feature that you'd want to have. And they literally grind the tip of that off so a load couldn't be placed on the top of that hinge.
Okay. Those are extra add-ons I should probably ask for. It's
If
going
if
to
they
be a swing clear. It's probably in some sort of ADA application where they might need some of the other stuff, like you said, hospital tips, ligature. No. Interesting. Okay.
yeah, no,
Down on that.
absolutely. I mean, when someone is asking for a quote, if they've not specified hospital tip, I wouldn't bother asking, because
Okay.
if they're asking for a price, then they're not just. This is too unusual of a piece of hardware to just ask for a quote on.
Right.
So we generally do keep a little bit of swing clear on the shelf, and I actually am quite sure that we have some swing clear, not much, but just a little bit, because someone's going to say, oh, you know what, I just need these swing clear hinges. But it's hard to stock them because you got beveled edge and scratch doors, and one
Right.
ain't going to work on the other. It'll work, but you could get a guy coming back into the sales area, and he's got a machete in his hand. It's just how that leaf is bent. When you look at the cross section, like especially in the McKinney catalog, you can see it really easily. And I actually did a video of a deep dive where I pulled out AutoCAD showing how you are to use one on the other, a beveled edge hinge or a hinge meant for a square edge door on a beveled edge door. I actually showed in AutoCAD how that it doesn't work really well and why it doesn't work.
Okay, cool. Question. Fit and finish, you said for Stanley is fantastic. What about McKinney?
McKinney's really good too. There is a gal at McKinney who is like the hinge guru, and she has to have worked at McKinney for decades because she's forgotten more. She's like their engineer. She's always been really helpful to me, and I'm partial to them. But boy, when you get that Stanley hinge is probably going to be made to order, but their presentation looks really nice, so, and plus the hinge just works really well when you get it. Hager, when people say Hager, their company name was actually Hager Hinge. It's just, as I've said in the past, their quality control is awful in many instances. Awful.
It seems like one of the first lessons I remember learning here is that every once in a while Hager ships something that doesn't meet quality standards, and that's why when someone asks for Hager, I think about PBB, because it's going to be an import, probably going to be similar in quality.
So what's interesting about PBB is those guys take pride in their finishing to a level that other manufacturers just don't. I mean, they bring all their stuff in from overseas, but all of the finishing is done in outside of Los Angeles. They do all of it there. Their whole thing is they finish the back side of the hinge to the same level that they finish the front side of the hinge, and you don't really see all of the back side of the hinge when it's attached to the door and frame. But they're saying we take deep pride in this. Every inch of this looks good.
Awesome.
And and also it's not about selling a hinge. I don't think PBB is selling a hinge. They're selling the near instantaneous responsiveness. They're selling the ability to just keep it no nonsense. For me, that's actually what I'm buying. Their customer service. It happens to be a widget that hangs a door. So I love using PBB, and I recommend them, as you know, all the time because they're just so easy to work with, and a very high quality product, and a very their pricing is such that you can be profitable.
Oh yes, that's why I like going there. 300% markup sounds good to me.
Well, hinges will always carry a much better markup than other items. You can do that with a hinge, but you can't get away with that on the door. So you got to make it where you can.
Okay, very good. Are there any like cross-reference charts that you use, or you just do it based on application and just your knowledge?
Oh gosh, I'm quite sure that someone has cross-reference charts.
I know PBB does.
Yeah, I was going to say they've got one that's just like, oh my goodness, who put all this work into it? And, and Stanley may, it's just, for me, every manufacturer is going to have the stuff that you got to have. If you go to a steakhouse, you got to have filet, you got to have New York strip, you got to have,
ribeye, all
whatever.
all the good
But
stuff,
you also got to have French onion soup, and you've got to have a Caesar, or pardon me, a wedge. So, all the hinge manufacturers are going to have the absolute basics covered. When it comes to swing clear, that's just a basic hinge. Not super common, but still very basic.
Sort of thing I can probably call a hinge manufacturer, and they'd be able to help me out, more or less.
You can, and calling tech support is always a good thing. However, it does, and I tell Terry this all the time, that you must graduate away from that being your first move.
Right.
You've got to say, okay, let me do the work first, and then you only go to them for confirmation, or because, okay, I'm stumped. That catalog always has to be the first stop on your train of your journey. The first train stop on that journey is the manufacturer's catalog, and then of course your coworkers.
Okay, that's good on that one, I think. A lot of other supporting info, which is very good. The one other item is a Bommer spring hinge. It's a 4020. Seems like we don't have direct replacements for Bomber, but I don't know if that's actually accurate because I'm just out of my element. I didn't see that we have very many instances of these 4020s that we've actually ever sold, as I recall. So I didn't have anything to cross-reference it recently for a replacement, because usually that's what I do. But yeah, the one that's specific is a 4020-6. So it's a 4.5 template hole pattern. And
yeah, so obviously the problem with Bomber is the obvious problem with Bomber, in that, they didn't innovate. So what's really important about this one is that your customer is not working with a fire door. So if you're not working with on a fire door, because there's a different part number for the UL listed version, then a potential replacement would be the part number 35606, and that would be the Ultra. And there may be someone else who makes them. I don't know that Hager has one. I doubt it. But I've been pushing the Ultra. However, that too is discontinued for the obvious reason. But that's going to bolt up for this customer in the sense that it's a 4.5-inch leaf, that the holes are in the template pattern.
Okay, fantastic. That's actually an easy one. I mean, Graham will have to figure out something going forward when those 14 are gone. But that's an easy one for this request.
Well, the thing is with this one, because it's a 4.5-inch leaf in the template pattern, if a customer has a door like in New York, where these are everywhere, the guy, if he needs one, that's not going to happen. But you can change all of the hinges to a standard spring hinge that would not have that same vertical axis of pivoting.
Could you explain that standard spring hinge versus whatever this is?
Yeah, so you could type in LB4310C-450, and that would be a standard spring hinge. That's going to fit into the same prep, but you can't mix and match the 4000 series with a standard spring hinge, a common spring hinge.
Okay.
That you'll see. If you scroll down halfway down the page or a third of the way down, you'll see an actual picture of a very, very common spring hinge.
So what would we refer to this?
The diameter of the barrel. Huh?
Okay. Yes, I noticed the diameter of the barrel is larger. Is that what you refer to as, like a large barrel spring hinge?
The 4020, yeah. That's because where the barrel diameter, the vertical axis pivoting is measured off the face of the door, you can't use any other hinge with that. That's not completely the same in terms of its dimensions.
Okay. Just trying to get my head around that one. It's something that will take a little more time, but yes. I understand what you're saying. It's asking the right questions and seeing, like, without the customers providing me part numbers, it's still cumbersome to fumble through the catalog and try and figure out. But then again, that's why I'm calling you to see what other variables there are to think about. So, okay. I think I'm good on this. I think I'm going to review a Stanley and McKinley catalog a little bit later, but Kinney. But I think this is very good for my Hinge knowledge.
I'm actually reading McKinley right now. I think he's the 25th president.
Very good. All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Rich. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you.
Talk to you. Bye.
You know what's worse than not having fuel to run your fork truck when you've got 4,000 pounds of doors to unload? It's not participating in the Architectural Builder Supply 10,000 YouTube subscriber marked contest giveaway.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.